Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the Occult Think Tank. My name is Greg. In this video, I am going to rant about Jesus, Christmas, Christianity, a whole lot of shit. I have a whole lot to get off my chest in this one because the truth of the matter is I'm not opposed to Christmas or even the holiday season in general, although with my girlfriend I think of it more as the winter solstice because she's Wiccan and I'm an atheist. It's one, yes, I gave her a bunch of different massagers. One was a massager that goes from basically the top of your back of your neck all the way down your back, as well as foot massagers because she's always saying about a massage. And I had mentioned to her about a Norse website that I had come across that had a shirt with a picture of Odin on the front of it, and it had said, "Whatever doesn't kill me had better run." Well, she told me she couldn't find that website, so she had a shirt custom made. And I will show you this. She took the phrase, "Whatever doesn't kill me," and the bottom had better run, and put a picture on it that she knew I would like, and I do. I absolutely love this shirt. It's just it's one of a kind type of thing. But the thing is, I don't have a problem with gifts and so forth at Christmas, but I also have the attitude of why do it just once a year? Because if I'm going to do something nice for my girlfriend, and I do all the time, I don't need to have one day a year that I'm going to get something for her or that I'm going to do nice things for her. Because one of the things she did for my birthday was a belated type of present. We went to see the Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens movie in 3D. I enjoyed it, but I thought the Kylo Ren was a bit of a weak pansy bitch. If you haven't seen the movie, that's as far as I'll go into that, but it's just one I didn't care for that character. I felt it was depicted extremely weak. But all in all, it's a good movie. The thing is, if you're going to talk about a subject, be it Star Wars or be it the Bible, then you goddamn better have watched the movie or read the book before you try talking about it. Because if you haven't watched the movie or read the book or have some knowledge of the fucking story, how the fuck can you have a discussion about it? And the truth of the matter is, when I talk to Christians, the vast majority of them, when I ask them, have you read the Bible? They're, no. Well, then how the fuck can you tell me you love Jesus or that you believe in God or that you have any beliefs at all regarding what's in the Bible because you've never read the fucking book? It would be like somebody trying to talk to me about a movie they never fucking saw. Or talking to me about a pro wrestling event, be it WrestleMania, Fall Brawl, or whatever the fuck, and they never watched the pay-per-view. If you didn't watch the pay-per-view, or trying to talk about a sporting, like the Giants versus the Cowboys, if you didn't watch the fucking game, how can you have a fucking discussion about it? You didn't watch the fucking game. It doesn't matter if you, in a sense, know the name of the teams. Okay, so the fuck what? You don't know jack shit about what was going on in the game, or you might know the names of characters in a story because of what you hear from others, but you won't know jack shit about the context. You won't know jack shit about what is being discussed. The truth of the matter is, Christians can't be bothered with actually taking the time to read their fucking Bible. And don't you think, Christians, don't you think that your God would know you don't give a fuck about the Bible? You don't give a fuck about God, Jesus, and afterlife. What you care about is right fucking now. The life you have right fucking now. I'm not saying that the life we have right now isn't important, or that thinking about things in your life isn't important. I'm not saying that at all. But if you're going to say that you have such a big interest and that you're putting so much faith and hope on this afterlife, don't you think you should know a bit about what you're running your mouth about and what you're putting your faith in and you're hoping for? Don't you think you should know what is in the goddamn book related to what you're having faith in? Because otherwise, what good is your faith? What exactly are you having faith in? A fantasy in your head? If it's a fantasy in your head that you're having faith in, what reason would there be for a God to be expected to live up to the fantasy in your head? Because the truth of the matter is, you're not interested in the God, you're not interested in the Jesus, you're only interested in your own sorry, self-centered ass. And that's really what it comes down to. Like I said, I have no real problem with the holiday season and so forth, but let's be clear, Christians. If you jackasses want to try and act like Isaiah 7 was talking about Jesus, try reading the fucking story. And ask a Jew what the word virgin in Isaiah 7 is in Hebrew and what it means. It's their goddamn book. Because they could tell you. The word virgin in Isaiah 7, that's the Hebrew word alma. And that means a young woman. A young fucking woman. That's not a miracle. Young fucking women give birth to a child every goddamn day. And the idea of a half man, half God is not Jewish. It's not part of the criteria for Messiah. One of the criteria for Messiah was to have the Messiah would be born of the seed of David. The God of the Jews was never born of the seed of David. So he could not be the father of this character Jesus. And the idea of the Son of God type of shit, or Jesus referring to God as the Father type of shit, this actually is going to be in a video that I have coming up that was an interview that I did with Mark Powers not too long ago, where he had explained the idea of the Son of God or sons of God is a general term, that it could either mean like the Jewish people or angels. That when Jesus saying about being the Son of God, it's no different than any Jew saying that they're a son of God. It's not saying that they are a bloodline, biological order, that they're the same thing. That's horseshit. That's Christianity trying to make up bullshit and not understanding, in a sense, a figure of speech. They're trying to make it their own ideas and inserting their own bit of bullshit on it. But there's also this idea of people that want to act like they believe in a God, but they're more interested in their sports teams or pro wrestling. And this is where I'm going to do a bit of a reaction type of video, because it's also explaining why pro wrestlers get involved with religion. Here is the Honky Tonk Man.
Oh, brother. DiBiase found the Lord, so he says. Now, we don't know if he really found the Lord or not. I'm still looking for the Lord myself. I hadn't found him. I look a lot of places. I look up in the sky, I look down on the ground. I'm still looking myself, but DiBiase's found him. Anyway, DiBiase's joined together this band of what I call them Raiders of the Covenant. And the Covenant is kind of like the collection plate, I guess, in some of these religions. Pass the plate, and I'll take a little bit, and you take a little bit, and here, give me the rest of that shit. I want the rest. But he's banded together all these desperate men do desperate things. He's got Georgiano Steele, he's got Greg Valentine, he's got all three Guerreros, Hector Mondo and Chavo Sr. He's got Sting, and he's got Shawn Michaels, he's got both the Koloffs, he's got Marty Jannetty now, he's got Brutus Beefcake, who I said, and he's got Duggan, Steiner, Bagwell. He had both Road Warriors, now he's only got one. I said to Beefcake when I saw him, I said, I got to know because I heard this. I got to know the truth. I heard DiBiase reached out and touched you like the AT&T commercial. Reach out and touch someone. That he reached out and touched you long distance from his home in Mississippi to your home in Boston. He called you up and you got down on your hands and knees in your living room and you confessed all your sins and gave your soul to DiBiase. Oh, no. I said, well, did he call you? Well, he did call me. Did you repent? Well, I guess. Well, he said, hell, man, it's a good payday. So that's what it's all about. It's a payday. He pays these guys very well, so they go out and they do this.
Now Russo's getting involved too.
Oh gosh, that Vince Russo, that's our sack of shit. What a low-life piece of dog shit you are, Vince Russo. I say this because for some reason you thought you had your finger on the pulse of the wrestling business when you said there's no such things as heels and baby faces. This is shock TV. Anybody over 40 should be washed out of the business. Well, you were over 40. You're over 40 now. Look at you. You're crawling to the Bible now. You're crawling somewhere and saying you found a whole new life and the wrestling business destroyed you. It made you hate people. Nah, you sorry sack of shit anyway. I'm going to pray for you, son. You know what, Rob? If my ticket to heaven is through these guys, I won't be going. If DiBiase or Vince Russo or any of these holier-than-thou motherfuckers is holding the key to the pearly gates, I know I won't get in. But I do know this. I know where I'm going, and I'm going to see them all in the same place. I'm on a highway to hell. Me and Jake and all of us, we're going to meet there. One big last battle royal, underground.
And that is what people really need to realize is these pro wrestlers, and I would even say like athletes and so forth, they will say they found God or found religion because they're interested in a payday. They're interested in the money. They could give a fuck about a religion, Jesus, whatnot. The other reason that people like Shawn Michaels or Sting could embrace religion is another thing that really gets me fucking heated. And it is the idea that, like, with the aspect of Shawn Michaels and Sting, both of them were having sex outside of marriage with various different rats. And I have no problem with that. I'm a fucking atheist. I'm also a hedonist. So it's one I have no problem with a person having sex with whoever the fuck they choose to. The thing is, the only reason that these men embraced religion and found Jesus and all that shit was to save their marriage. Let's be fucking clear. Their wives found out that they were screwing around and so forth. So they do this, being saved, accepting Jesus and all that happy shit, so that they can be, okay, everything I did is washed away, I can be forgiven. and they go on and they live their life. And a lot of them, like Shawn Michaels and so forth, they get out of the wrestling business on a full-time basis, and maybe they do it occasionally and so forth, but they're home more than they would be on the road. So they don't have the temptation to hook up with a rat or to do the drugs, or maybe to, even because of being in pain, to use the drugs, to take painkillers, whatever it may be, because they're not abusing their body on a daily basis and they're not in that environment. They don't have access to use the term, the temptation, or the opportunity isn't there type of thing. Whatever it is, as far as in their private lives, the thing is, they wouldn't have as readily available what they would have if they were on the road. And they'll do this babbling about God and Jesus in order to get a pass from their wife, which is something that, frankly, should be offensive to the wife. It shouldn't be something that they're, oh yes, you're wonderful, thank you for finding Jesus. They're only doing it because they're wanting to save their own sorry, self-centered ass. They don't give a fuck about Jesus. They care about themselves. And this idea of vicarious redemption and people being saved, it disgusts me, because the very notion is something that a wife should look at and get highly offended at. My girlfriend had heard me talk about this and said to me when we were going out tonight to go over to a co-worker's place of hers for Christmas dinner, that she agrees with me, the idea of, if a husband or boyfriend would give a gift to his wife and say, this is for, here is whatever, because tomorrow I'm going to hit you, that would be offensive. One of you, put your hands on me, you're going to be hurt. It's going to be the last thing you do. The thing is, she's like, that wouldn't. You can't pay for something you're going to do before you do it. But that's the essence of Christianity, is that if you just saying that you believe in Jesus means you can do whatever the fuck you want and it's washed away, that is offensive. By the same token, to act as if a rapist, a child molester, someone that is a murderer, that they can do all the shit that they have done and then say they believe in Jesus and it's all washed away? The raped woman remains raped. The molested child remains molested. The person that was killed remains dead. Why the fuck should that criminal, the perpetrator of whatever, get off and not have the consequences type of thing, where the victim whatever victim there was has to deal with the consequences of what happened their entire life? There's nothing magically coming down and taking away the trauma that they had to deal with. It is offensive for a person to try and act like they can be forgiven because of what they think. It really pisses me off to no end. Because what also goes in line with it is the idea that everything happens for a reason. And I have said, referencing, because I mentioned this in a video where I was arguing with somebody, where I was in the comments section, and I said, what was the reason for there was a video that I guess is on the deep web or whatnot, called The Destruction of Daisy, or Daisy's Destruction, that is the rape and murder of an 18-month-old child. What is the reason for that? What this person said was downright offensive Oh, it's their fate. Their fucking fate? Really? But then when they said about having a brain tumor, I was like, well, can't you say that was your fate? They actually tried to say, well, God would have seen that, oh, uh-oh, they have this brain tumor that was in their fate, so I'm going to step in and heal them of it. Then it wasn't your fate. Because this God, and it also shows that this God is as much of an imbecile as you people are. To try and act like a God is not knowing what's going to be going on, and it has to be looking at the things in our world and be, oh shit, look what's happening now, as if it didn't fucking know. Christians, why is it that you people make your God out to be a completely incompetent, impotent boob or imbecile? Why is it that everything with this God seems to be a projection of your own ego? Honestly, I think that's what it comes down to. That it's not about a God, it's not about a Jesus, it's not about any of that shit. It's about you wanting to stroke your ego and acting as if people have to live up to what you say a God wants, but the truth of the matter is, the God you want people to live up to is you. You want to hold some standard and act like people have to goose step, as you say, Sig Heil to you. Otherwise, they should be tortured. It is offensive. Christians that want, any Christian that wants to try and embrace any part of Christianity should be fucking ashamed of themselves. Downright ashamed. Excuse me. The thing is, and I'm going to wrap up this rant with this, and I've saved this picture for last because I figured this is a good one to end it on. But the thing is, Christians want to act like they're so righteous and they're so good and they're so holy. But the most ironic part, when I was dealing with one person that calls himself like unfaithful or unworthy servant type of shit, I was quoting the Old Testament, like Isaiah, Proverbs, so forth. This person actually said, I removed that because it was blasphemous to God. I was like, blasphemous to God? It's supposedly, according to Isaiah, Proverbs, so forth, it's the fucking God speaking. How can it be blasphemous to God when it is the God that is the one saying it? What it came down to is the God that it was blasphemous to was them. They were making themselves the God, which I would contend these people honestly don't believe in a God. Not really. That the God that they believe in is themselves. It's not about some other thing out there that they're going to see someday. Not at all. Because if it was, they wouldn't be going around behaving and acting the way they do in life. They would conduct themselves and conduct their life a whole hell of a lot better. The truth of the matter is they don't. Because they don't even believe that this God exists. And they, I think, know deep down that when we die, that's it. It's over. I do get where people have the desire to see loved ones again and even the fear of death and all that shit. I get it. But the truth of the matter is, there is no reason to think that our life would go on after we're dead. the subject of ghosts and so forth is something I am going to touch on because I find it interesting. I'm not a full believer in it, but it's something that I'll get into in a later video. But I do not believe that there is any way that our consciousness could survive the dying process. But feel free to leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section below, and like, share, so forth. Later, people.